The speaker is Yahya Osman from New Jersey, who is one doctor, and he will speak now.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be back here in this great college. And thanks all my colleagues who have spoke before me, and especially Professor Rees. About Darfur, just let me take you a little back to Sudan. Where am I from? And I'm from Darfur, and I represent the Darfur Rehabilitation Project. For a long period of time, we had been suffered from the dictatorship who had ruled Sudan for 50 years in different terms. With only 8 years of democracy since Sudan got his independence. Sudan got his independence in 1956. Since that day until the moment, the Sudanese nation never feel that there is a regime can bring them hope and make their dreams true, and especially Darfurians. Darfur had joined Sudan in 1916 or 1917 in between, after the British made their way to Sudan as a colonial power. When the British left Sudan, they handed the power to what they so-called Arabs, because they was close to Egypt, and there is some entrance between the Arab League or Arab countries at that time and the British as a colonial power. So the people of Darfur had been neglected and marginalized through all that period of time until this moment. And many Darfurians try to make things better and try to negotiate with the Sudanese government. I mean the successive Sudanese government, not only this government, because these things had happened for a long period of time, as I say. 1956, the first dictatorship named Aboud, and he also claimed that he's an Arab. And after that, Jafar Numeri, also he claimed that he's an Arab. He ruled Sudan for 16 years. And after that, a short term of democracy. And then this government, which represent Islam in a wrong way by National Islamic Front, came to the floor in 1989, overthrown official elected government. So first here we talk about dictatorship regime, and we talk about lack of democracy. Secondly, we talk about intention of a genocide. And when we talk about the genocide, we just talk about the war, but no one describe what the genocide mean and what real the Darfurian had been going through. People had been murdered and slaughtered in a way that no one can imagine how it is. Women raped, children 2 months, all also being killed in this campaign or nasty campaign. And still the Sudanese government claim that they are doing better and everything is going as all right. And the international community are so complicit in this matter by giving weak, wrong messages to Sudanese government that 3 months will help Sudanese government to do better. When all we know, this regime has no self-mechanism, correction. How a regime committed genocide against his own people and give a mandate from UN or any other entity to do best thing to his own people. Till this moment, the killing is going on and the rape also is going on. The Sudanese government said that they deploy over 9,000 police officers to the region of Darfur. In fact, those are the Janjaweed militia who commit the same crime, just they put them in uniform and they give them authorization to kill and rape more. And we appreciate the offer which had been made by such group like you and others, international community and aid workers, and offer also be made by the African Union. But we talk here about 3 or 4 different dynamics: African Union, Sudanese government, Arab League, and the UN plus United States of America. The African Unions, the member of the African Unions are dictatorship government. they will do nothing because Sudan is one of their colleagues. So if you see your brothers just shaved hardly, you better to wet your hair to be shaved smoothly. So that's why the African countries said that this is an African problem. It should be African resolution for it. Or we can solve it by ourselves without any intervention from any other things. That is not the truth. Because there is so many corruption and other crimes around the continent, so they try to protect Sudan to protect themselves from any other consequences or any other attention will be paid to their problems. We come to Sudanese government, they will pay ever price to be in a power to protect some individuals in Sudan. Since 1989 until this moment, Sudan being ruled by 200 personnel. They make the decisions, they kill whoever they want to kill. I mean, we talk about oil, which Sudan now has 270,000 barrels a day, and that money never came to the Sudanese budget. Nobody knows where is that money going. It's just go to direct individual accounts. Even the Security Council or the United Nations knows this fact well, and they're still giving Sudanese, in the name of sovereignty, they give them more days to commit another crime against their own people. When we talk about the sovereignties, we should talk about a regime who committed genocide against his own people, automatically should, retrieve that sovereignty, but still backing by the UN and Arab Leagues and African Union. The Arab tribe in Darfur, which is very strange to me, when we talk about the genocide, some international workers and some organizations, they said we don't see mass graves, or we don't see, or we cannot distinguish between who is Arab and who is Africans. Arab and Africans in that region for years been living together, but the Sudanese government used that tension which has existed between the tribe, and it is very hard for every other foreigners to distinguish between who is an Arab and who is an African. But the intention and the plan is there, which is well drawn and engineered by the Vice President of the Sudanese government, Osman and his staff. And they know that it is very hard for people to distinguish between the ethnicity which exists in Darfur. Only the Darfurian and the Sudanese, they know that from 5 or 10 miles, if somebody walks, they know if he is an Arab or he is an African. Even the villages which had been burned in Darfur, 99% of those villages are indigenous African villages. None of that village is Arab villages.